On the dry and sun-heated cliffs of the Ethiopian Highlands, heat accumulates throughout the day. Wind moves between exposed rock formations, carrying the smell of dry soil and sounds reflected from steep terrain. This area creates conditions that allow sound to travel easily. Any movement carries far through rock crevices and narrow canyons. On the rocky slope, a troop of baboons moves in a state of disorder. The predator approaches from the edge of the forest. It is a leopard. The leopard uses terrain cover to reduce distance. The strike occurs quickly and ends within a short period of time. After the attack, the baboon troop produces alarm signals. Individuals disperse over a short range before stabilizing their position. Thin mist begins to cover the highlands as morning light appears. Wind continues to pass across scrubland, carrying the smell of dry soil and fragmented early morning sound. A group of francolines scratches the ground in search of food. Insects are disturbed beneath dry leaves. Timu is only a few months old. Timu is in the stage of learning how to locate food and move across steep, rocky terrain. After the death of the adult female, Timu is no longer maintained within the troop structure. Timu is separated from the main group. There is no adult individual accompanying Timu. Timu moves alone among sharp rocks and low thorn vegetation. The route changes according to terrain features and available food sources. During this wandering period, Timu encounters other individuals living outside established troop structures. When temperatures drop at night and food becomes scarce, spacing gradually decreases. Individuals share fruit resources. When conditions become cold, they remain close to reduce heat loss. A small group form. The group is not based on kinship. The persistence of the group depends on environmental conditions. Timu mobility improves across rocky terrain. The time required to access food sources decreases. Responses to sound and movement become faster. During one period, the group is followed by a lioness. The presence of the predator is detected through scent and distant movement. Travel routes are altered. Minor injuries appear over time. Nights without stable shelter occur repeatedly. Frequent exposure to predators shapes survival reflexes. The result is an individual with faster responses. Movement becomes more efficient in complex terrain. On that morning, a sound appears near the boundary of the troop territory. Unusual movement causes young males to raise their heads and direct attention in the same direction. One individual enters the living area. The body shape is familiar but altered by time. This individual is Timu. Timu is the individual that was removed from the troop several seasons earlier. The current body size is larger, and muscle mass is clearly developed. The stance is stable on the sloped rock surface. The line of sight is directed toward the central area of the troop. Timu does not move alone. Other adult males follow behind. Each individual carries visible signs of extended life outside the troop structure. Spacing between them remains consistent as they enter the territory. The baboon troop does not produce sound. Activity within the area drops to a minimal level. From a high position on the central rock, Raka observes the entire situation. In previous seasons, Raka response usually occurs immediately after intrusion. This time, the response is slower. The gaze is not accompanied by immediate alarm vocalization. After that moment, the former order ends. Raka no longer holds the dominant position within the troop. No prolonged chase occurs. There is no widespread disruption within the group. After Raka is removed from the central position, Timu does not assume total control. Leadership roles are distributed among the adult males that arrived with Timu. Social spacing within the troop changes noticeably. Female individuals gain more space for movement within the living area. The frequency of forced male approaches decreases. Stress-related vocal signals within the troop appear less often. The troop enters a period of relative stability. Foraging and movement follow a more regular daily pattern. However, in a natural environment, stable conditions are not permanent. Quiet conditions persist only for a limited period. Other threats remain present beyond the territorial boundary. During the same period when Timu is adapting on the rocky highlands, Another environment operates in parallel along the Ethiopian coast. This area has open terrain and is directly influenced by salty wind and tidal movement. An adult jackal moves through this area. The sound it produces is high-pitched and brief, which is a common signal pattern for solitary adult individuals. This individual is identified as Narka. Narka has persisted through multiple cycles of change in the coastal environment. During that time, several other predator species have left or have been removed from the area. Compared to larger predators of the highlands, Narka does not have an advantage in body size or strength. Hunting activity depends on maintaining low and steady movement while minimizing vibration on sandy ground. Narka range of activity lies close to the shoreline. When the sun rises higher, reflected light from the sea shines directly onto coastal rock faces. These rock formations accumulate heat and become gathering sites for marine animals. On these rocks, adult male sea lions rest. Their bodies are large, and movement on rock surfaces is slow. They occupy positions with direct sunlight to retain heat. Narka approaches this area from the low sand dune. The individual moves close to the ground, passing through coastal shrubs and shallow depression. During the approach, wind direction shifts briefly. Another jackal passes through the area. Narka stops movement to avoid direct contact. After the area becomes quiet again, Narka continues moving toward the rocky shoreline. The approach ends with a short attack that provides sufficient food for the young during cooling afternoon temperatures. From a higher position on the rock faces, Narka observes the beach for a short period. Surrounding species activity does not show significant change after the event. As light levels decrease, food is placed inside the rock cavity. Narka activity decreases gradually as darkness fully sets in. At the same time, deep within the dry highlands, Raka produces a warning sound and exposes teeth. Distance is re-established without direct physical contact. Dominance within the troop is maintained through behavioral responses formed across many previous seasons. At the edge of the dry forest, where low vegetation ends, and the rocky plateau begins to expand, an adult female leopard appears in the darkness. Light reflected from yellow eyes indicates a high level of focus directed toward an area with recent primate activity. This individual is Moru, an adult female leopard. Moru body size is smaller than that of males in the same population, but close approach and low-level movement control are more effective. Several seasons earlier, Moru killed an adult female baboon in this same area. That event occurred while the female offspring was still fully dependent on the troop for survival. Three weeks before the present time, Moru gave birth inside a narrow rock crypt. The birth site is located deep within the rock structure, which reduces direct exposure to wind and temperature change. The young are not yet capable of moving with the mother, which causes Moru hunting demand to increase significantly. In the early morning, the dry forest gradually becomes active under the influence of light wind. Dry leaves rub together as animals begin to move. A herd of antelope advances slowly toward a stream, while maintaining even spacing to reduce detection risk. At a lower level of the ecosystem, striped ground squirrels stand upright one by one to observe. Some individuals maintain lookout positions, while others continue digging for insects. Intermittent squeaks and scraping sounds occur, indicating increased alert behavior. On elevated rock outcrops, vultures turn their heads in the direction of the wind. They focus observation on the area where the baboon troop of Timu has recently established a new order. The fact that they neither descend nor depart indicates that ecological imbalance in the area remains unresolved. Within this context, Moru moves close to the ground. The leopard body passes over tree roots and cracked, dry soil. With each step placed precisely to reduce vibration, this movement allows Moru to approach the target without disrupting surrounding environmental activity. Sunset gradually covers the Ethiopian plateau. Late-day light spreads across short grass, scattered rocks, and footprints that remain slightly moist. In a clearing between rows of trees, the baboon troop of Timu is resting. Young individuals cluster near shallow root zones to reduce predator access. Several females separate briefly from the troop to search for food before nightfall. From the west, darkness advances toward the area. Moru continues moving close to the ground, blending with the dry brown grass of the plateau. Stable wind direction carries leopard body scent away from the baboon troop. Open terrain and remaining light allow Moru to identify individual positions within the troop. Distance between predator and target decreases with each movement cycle. However, the expected prey response does not occur. The baboon troop does not disperse, and no flight behavior appears. Within the narrow space between shrubs and rock formations, alarm sounds erupt simultaneously. Coordinated movement from multiple directions removes the leopard advantage of isolated approach. The confrontation ends quickly within the dense darkness of the plateau. This environment does not allow prolonged error for any predator species. Moru hunting sequence ends at this location. The event concludes with brief and direct bloodshed that aligns with regional survival conditions. Afterward, the baboon troop holds position. No continued chase occurs, and no widespread disturbance spreads through the troop. Timu, an individual previously removed from the former social structure, now holds a central role within the new order. This position does not result from individual choice, but emerges directly from harsh environmental conditions and repeated exposure to risk in earlier periods.